What up, guys? This is David Huang coming at you from supplementsuperhero.com, and in this video I want to talk about ways to lower your A1C. So basically these are nine practical tips of how to lower your A1C naturally. So if you don't know, A1C is an average of your blood sugar readings over the course of about 3 months, about 2 to 3 months, give or take. And it's a good indication of how well you're doing if you're a diabetic, or it's a good way to measure whether or not you are diabetic or not, or whether you're pre-diabetic. But basically, it's a pretty good indicator of your blood sugar levels and whether or not they're healthy or whether or not they're unhealthy. So these are 9 tips that I found from a website, diabetesselfmanagement.com. I'll include a link below. These are literally tips that I got straight from the article, so these are not David's facts. These are from the actual article, from the actual website, so you can check it out. And I think they're pretty good tips. So let's get into it. Number 1, healthy eating. Obviously, this one's pretty obvious, and there's a bunch of different philosophies on diets, bunch of different diets out there. But in general, they say low carbs are good, eating good fats is good. A good, well-balanced diet in general is very good. A vegetarian diet is good. But they say the best way is to really develop a good plan for yourself. Visit with a dietitian who can help you plan your meals. But healthy eating is number 1, right? Because that's what's causing our blood sugar levels to spike in the first place, is what we put in our body. Number 2, actually sit down to plan your meals. It's one thing to just say you eat healthy, but it's another thing to actually sit down and physically plan your meals, when you're going to eat your meals, how much you're going to eat, what you're going to eat. They say don't skip meals, don't delay meals, and make sure to get on a consistent schedule. You ideally want to eat at the same time every single day in the same number of meals, so that way you don't have these spikes or these huge elevations or fluctuations in your blood sugar levels. Okay, number 3, you want to be very selective when it comes to carbs. As you know, carbs break down into glucose in our body. They break down into blood sugar molecules in our body, which spike our sugars. So it's not good, right? You ideally want to be a little picky. You want to be choosy. You don't want to be eating refined sugars, so things like sugar itself, sweets, cookies, bread, white rice, all that stuff. Ideally, it's better to eat things like vegetables. You want to be eating things like even healthy fruits, healthy grains, nuts, legumes, things like that. So those unrefined sugars, those unrefined carbs. Okay, number 4, you want to be, what the article says, carb consistent. So that means you want to eat the same amount of carbs at the same time just about every day. You don't want to have one meal, a bunch of carbs, the next meal, a small amount of carbs, the next meal, a bunch of carbs. Ideally, you really want to be carb consistent. So the same amount with every single meal. Same amount of brown rice here, same amount of brown rice here, same amount of celery here, whatever it is. So you want to be consistent with your carbs. You don't want to have like one day you eat a bunch of sugar, the next day you don't eat any sugar. You don't want that. Okay, number 5, you want to watch your portions. So portion size is very important. That's not just for carbs, but keep in mind proteins and fats as well. You don't want to eat too much. You don't want to eat too little of everything. So you want to watch those portion sizes. Number 6, this one's pretty obvious too, but be active. And it doesn't necessarily have to be just like the traditional hit the gym hard, lift weights, get on the treadmill, but getting into the habit of just taking walks. Going to walk at the park instead of sitting down and watching TV all day. Or if you're sitting down and watching TV, maybe standing up, maybe occasionally doing a couple of jumping jacks, maybe doing occasional push-ups, maybe just doing occasional ab exercises. Whatever it is, if you work a desk job, maybe standing at your desk, maybe getting up and walking every hour. So incorporating activity in just your general lifestyle is important, as well as an exercise routine. Okay, number 7, plan your exercise out. Okay, the reason why a lot of people don't exercise myself included from time to time, is because we really don't take the time to plan. When we plan and we have it set in our schedule, it's a lot easier. So if you know that you're going to go for a walk for 20 minutes every single morning, you're going to have it set in your schedule, you're more likely to do it. Or if you're going to hit the gym 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, right after work or right after school, you already have it in your schedule. It's already planned out. You don't have to think about it. Okay, number 8, they recommend committing to about 150 minutes of exercise each week. Okay, so 150 minutes, that's about 30 minutes of exercise 5 times a day. There's just something about that, with various studies or something like that, that apparently is really, really good. So 30 minutes, 5 days a week, otherwise 150 minutes every day. Okay, they recommend, if you want to make it easy on yourself, break it down into 3 10-minute exercises per day. So maybe going for a brisk 10-minute walk 3 times a day, or maybe doing some like push-ups and jumping jacks, or doing Tai Bo like for 10 minutes 3 times a day. Whatever it is, but they recommend committing to 150 minutes per week to get optimum gains. Okay, number 9, last but not least, is combining both cardio as well as resistance. So a lot of times we think that just by doing cardio and just by running, like that's good enough. But they say resistance training really does help, and resistance training, and because we do store glycogen in our muscles, when we actually work our muscles, when we actually like lift weights or we do push-ups, or when you do resistance training like push-ups or pull-ups or lifting weights in general, it really uses the sugars that you have that are stored in your body, that are stored in your muscles. So when you combine both cardio as well as resistance, you're really getting the optimal workout in to help really use up the carbs that you put into your body. So hopefully that helps, guys. Again, the 9 tips: healthy eating, planning your meals out, being choosy about the carbs you have, being consistent with the carbs you eat and drink, watching your portions. Number 6, being active. Number 7, planning your exercise. Number 8, committing to 150 minutes of exercise per week. And then number 9, combining cardio with resistance training. So those are the 9 tips to help lower your A1C. I've included the link to the article down below if you do want to check it out and read it yourself. DiabetesSelfManagement.com does have a lot of good information on diabetes in general. And please leave me a comment down below, guys. I love interacting with you guys, and let me know, what do you think about these tips? Are they good? Are they helpful? Do you already know these tips? And let me know your experience with diabetes, if you have it, if you know someone who has it, so on and so forth. Again, thank you so much for watching, guys. Have a fantastic day, and as always, sup it up.